The following lesson is of the PMI tool. This class is from Ashbrook First in Milton Keynes, England. These children are only 4 years old.
We might ask them to perhaps do 1 minute or 30 seconds, or with very small children, 10 seconds, individual thinking on their own, in silence, about that particular issue. Then share those thoughts with your partner. So it's think, then pair, join somebody else, and then the group of 4 can share. And maybe if there's a classroom assistant, a teaching assistant nearby, someone could perhaps scribe and write down some of the points that the children are saying, because often the children are talking so quickly that the environment needs to be available to them for that kind of conversation. We want somebody else to be the scribe, to be the note taker. Or some people use a video camera or an audio recorder just to take those notes.
Now, when I arrived at school this morning, I arrived and in my box was something rather special. Shall I show you what's in my box? Okay. In my box, there were lots of different animals. There was a hippo, a tiger, a giraffe, who's fallen down, and a monkey, a lemur, and an elephant, and a panda, and a turtle, and a lovely dolphin. Wow! All those animals were in my box. And I wonder why they were in my box, because I hadn't put them there, and Mrs. Keneally hadn't put them there, and they came with this letter. Can you read what it says? The tiger. So it's a letter to you. So shall we open it up and see what it says? Okay then. Let me have a look in this letter. Oh my goodness, we do get lots of letters. We're very lucky, the tigers. Wow. Oh, it's a big letter. Well, shall I read what it says? It says, "Dear children, we would like to open a zoo on the field at Ashbrook School. It would have tigers and elephants, giraffes and snakes and all sorts of animals in it, just like the wildlife parks and zoos you've been to. Do you think it would be a good idea?" What's this here? A question mark. "Please let me know what you think. Love from the zookeeper." So we've got to make a decision about whether we think it would be a good idea.
Our carpet screech, we could use that for the zoo.
We could use that for the zoo. Okay. So we've got to decide if we think it's a good idea to have a zoo on the field at Ashbrook School. And we're going to use a special thinking hat. We're going to use some of the hats to help us remember what we've got to do, but we're going to use a special tool. And it's a bit of a naughty tool because it's got 3 letters. P, M, I. Can you see them? P, M, I. And they stand for different things. Positive, what's really good about the idea. Minus, what's not a good thing about the idea. And the I is for anything else interesting that we might have to say. But we're going to start with the P. Okay, so I'm going to rub the other 2 out for a minute. And I've gone to think about the P being a bit like the yellow hat. What's really good, what's really positive about the idea of having a zoo on the field at Ashbrook School? I'd like you to whisper to your next door neighbour. See if you can come up with some ideas about what would make the idea of having a zoo on the field. You haven't got a partner. Chloe hasn't got a partner. Would you like to whiz round to Chloe? Jessica, talk to Sophie. So why would you like to see a zoo then?
Because of the dolphins.
You'd like to see all the animals close up, would you? Okay, anything else about it? What would happen if we had a zoo here?
The dolphins will splash up.
Oh, you'd like to be splashed by the dolphins. Wow, anything else?
And because I just have a ride on the zoo.
Oh, you'd be able to have rides on the animals. Oh, wow. And stop, turn and face Miss Badger. Just close your eyes for a minute and just think about what you've been talking about your partner with, because I'm going to ask some people for their ideas now about what would be really good, really positive about having a zoo on Ashbrook Field. Right, open your eyes, put your hand up if you've got an idea. Don't worry if you... Neve.
We could ride on the animals and take turns riding.
Right. We could have rides on the animals.
And take turns.
This one, thank you. Right, we could ride on the animals. Miss Badger's got to write over that again so that everybody can see it, because as always, something always goes wrong. Anyway. Okay, let me go over the P. Really brilliant. Thank you, Mrs. Williamson, for my new pen. Anything else? We could ride on the animals. Brilliant idea. Another idea, Calvin.
Sharing.
We could learn how to share and look after the animals, okay? We could share the animals with other people. And sorry?
Looking with the animals.
Oh, we'd be able to look at them. Okay.
Could get the flash.
Hang on a minute, so we'd be able to look at them really closely. Because I have to go quite a way to get to a zoo or a wildlife park. And they'd be right outside our classroom window. Wow. Anything else, Shaman?
We can play with them.
We could play with them.
Lions or tigers.
You don't think you'd want to play with the lions or the tigers? Why not?
Because it might eat us off.
Okay, well, stop a minute then, because that might be minus idea. So we'll keep that idea because we're thinking positive at the moment. Okay, so we could work and feed them. Why would feeding them be a good idea? What would you get out of feeding the animals? Would you enjoy it? I think I'd enjoy it as well. Jessica, what's your hand up, darling? What's your idea? Okay, put your hands down. So, here's lots of positive things, really good things we could do if we had a zoo at Ashbrook School. We could ride the animals. Oh, I think I'd enjoy doing that. We could share the animals with other people, other schools and other friends, and big brothers and sisters and mummies and daddies could all come, and we could look at them, because at the moment we have to look at them in books, don't we? Or on the television. We could have a really good look at them. We could share with them, share our learning and see if we could teach them things, and if they could teach us things. We could play with them, and we'd have lots of fun feeding them. So they're all really positive things. We could play with all of them. Okay. Oh, we need to keep them clean. Oh, we haven't got that. So we'd have to keep them clean. And that's about looking after... Okay, I'll go over the curly curl. So we could go and look after them and clean them. And that's all about learning to be really helpful, isn't it? Oh, that doesn't matter if I've got a pen on me. So that's all the positive things. Now, what was the M for? Can anybody remember? Neve. The the minus. And that's a bit like our, what colour hat? Hat. The things that wouldn't be as good. The minus things. What would be really bad if our whole field was covered in animals, in cages, and there were lots of people coming to visit it? What would be really bad about that? Have a chat to your next door neighbour. Okay, turn children and face Miss Badger. Remember, we're looking for the minus things, the things that wouldn't be so good if our field outside was full of animals. What wouldn't be so good? And I'm going to write them under the for minus in purple so we can see the positive things on one side and the minus things on the other side. What wouldn't be so good? Jessica?
We wouldn't have any room to walk around.
Oh no, we wouldn't have a field to play on. Oh no.
And we wouldn't have...
Wait a minute, Jack. There'd be no field to play on. So in the summer we wouldn't have anywhere to go and play our games. Brilliant idea. Jack?
After school, the children won't be able to play football on the field.
Oh no, so there'd be no football club. Oh, I better put no football club. What on earth where on earth would football club go? Yeah, you're absolutely right.
There's going to be some on the playground.
Oh no. What else, Kelvin?
Look after them.
We'd have to always look after them, yeah.
And not sharing.
Yeah, and if we look after them, we'd have to look after them every day of the week.
Ooh.
And that means that we'd all have to come to school on a Saturday and...
We'll
Oh
never get a day off.
no! We'd never get a day off! Oh, I think we'd get tired, don't you? Shall I write the word tired up? We're looking after all these animals.
Maybe you can take them home instead.
Oh, you might be able to take them home. They fall asleep. Anything else that might happen? All right, make sure you got your hand up. Shaman.
They might eat us.
Oh no, they might eat us. I know that we're the tigers, but I'm not sure I'd like to go in the cage with a tiger, would you? No. Or a lion. Okay, sit up really smartly. Remember, we can listen to one person at a time. Any more minus things? Things that are not going to be very good about having a zoo on the Ashbrook field. What did you say might happen to the animals? Might get... Yeah, they might eat each other. Not just like eat us, but they might eat each other. Oh dear.
We should not get the tigers then.
No, I think the tigers might be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Hang on. Zoe's got her hand up. Sorry, darling. They might fight. Oh no. If we put all the animals in together, they might fight each other and we'd have to try and stop them.
Sorry, I'll go and beat them up.
You go and look after me. Oh, I am glad about that. Right, Lauren's got her... Shh. Lauren's got her hand up.
You can lock them in the cage.
Oh, and do you think it's nice to lock animals in cages?
No.
No, I think we might have to... And there's not a lot of space, is there? So there might be a problem with the cages. I don't think animals really like being locked up sometimes, do they? Okay, put your hands down. So, we've got the positive things, the minus things, and now we've got to look. I need a new colour. Let me look in my box. Let's see what colour. Red. The interesting. But before we do the interesting, get your fingers and give them a shake because we're doing lots of thinking. Put your arms out and give them a shake. Put your nose and your ear on. And swap. And swap. And swap. And swap. And swap. And swap. Oh, right. Who's sitting up really smartly? Oh, I think Miss Badger's the smartest person. Oh. Well, show me then. Wow, fantastic. So, is there anything interesting about the idea of having a zoo on the fields? Is there anything we haven't mentioned that might be interesting about having a zoo? Talk to your next door neighbour. Really interesting. What would it be like having a zoo on our field? Right, so that's a positive thing. Is what about all the cars that came? What would we have to do with all those? Okay, turn and face Miss Badger. Sitting up really smartly, showing me you're ready. Now I'm going to use my red pen now. And interesting is a bit like which colour hat? The green hat. So we're going to put the green hat. Let's put that black hat away because we've thought about all the bad things, all the minus things. Now we're going to use the green hat. Is there anything interesting about having a zoo on our field that we haven't thought about? Danielle?
We'll be able to see dolphins like that one.
Right. So it's about able to see. So we could see the animals. And you think that would be an interesting idea, that you're able to see the animals more often? Bethany, did you have an idea? What was the idea?
We might get run over by a car.
Right, so there's going to be an interesting thought is what we're going to do with all the cars that people bring, Ellie, so they can come and see the animals. We'd need to think about what we're going to do with all the mummies and daddies' cars that came to see all the animals. Yeah. Zoe.
We can make a car park.
Right, so we need to make a car park. Now, where's that car park going to go, do you think?
In a space.
Where's the space? We've used the field. We've got our school where we have to come. So where's all the cars going to go?
Out behind the gate.
Oh, behind the gate. So there wouldn't be a playground then either? Oh dear.
Actually,
A
behind the other gate.
Oh, behind the other gate, the other side. Okay. A bass.
We like it.
You think you'd like it? Okay. So there are interesting ideas. So let's just have a look at what we've done. We've used the PMI tool. Let's say the sounds. P, E. And we've looked at whether it would be a good idea to have a zoo at Ashbrook School.
Yes.
And then, hang on a minute, Kelvin. If we go back to our letter, it gave us a question. Do you think it would be a good idea? Question mark. So we've got to think about whether we think the good things about having a zoo are more than the bad things. So we could ride the animals, we could share the animals, we could look at the animals, we could share with the animals, we could clean them out, we could play with them, we could feed them. But the animals might fight and we won't have a field and there'd be no football club and we'd have to look after them every day and every night. We'd get tired and there'd all be all those cages with those animals in and we're not sure we like cages.
No.
The animals might eat us up. Or they might eat each other up. And then we've got the thought that we might be able to see the animals. What we're going to do with all the cars? We're going to need a car park. And someone said they think they might like it. So there's lots of things on there. I want you to have a think for yourself for a minute. Because we're going to vote on it if we think having a zoo at Ashbrook School is going to be a good idea or not. Have a think. Would you want to come in here every weekend and feed the animals? Would you want to think that they might come and eat you up when you're doing your playing? Do you think it'd be really nice to go and look at the animals? Okay. Open your eyes and show Miss Badger how smartly you can sit up. Now, if you think the answer to the Mr. Zookeeper's question is yes, that you think it would be a good idea to have a zoo on the field, stand up. Right, let's stop. Let's count. George, are you up or down? Up, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sit down. If you've just been sat down, could you stand up? The people that think it would be a bad idea. Wow, so there was 12. Let me write that down as Miss Badger's going to forget. There was 12 people. Right, let's count how many people thought it was a bad idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 children thought it would be a bad idea. Oh, there's not that much difference in the numbers, is there? Sit down, children. 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's only 3 people difference. So we're a bit split, aren't we?
Yeah.
About whether to have a zoo. But I think what we could do is maybe write back to the zookeeper and tell him why we think it would be a positive idea, why we think it would be a minus idea, and why we think it might be interesting. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You've worked really hard. Thank you very much.